three major players who have quit T20 internationals for India.
Charlie, will I ever see you again?
Sure. You know, goodbyes aren't forever.
Then, goodbye, Charlie.
Axar Patel, what a revelation of the World Cup he had. This man has gone to a lot in the 6 months. Hardik Pandya.
தகப்பா வாழ்க்கையிலேயே ஒரு உருப்படியான காரியம் பண்ணிருக்கேன்னா அது இதுதான். இனிமே உன்னை வாடா போடான்னு சொல்ல மாட்டேன், வாங்க போங்கன்னே சொல்றேன். அப்படியா? ரொம்ப சந்தோஷம்.
Anytime you give him the ball, it's like you have the. It's not over until Bumrah's 4 overs are done.
வர்றான் ஹிட் ரிப்பீட், அடுத்து வர்றான் ஹிட் ரிப்பீட், அடுத்து வர்றான் ஹிட் ரிப்பீட்.
Kudos to South Africa also. Pavon. So they played a fantastic final.
கிடைக்கலன்னா விடு. நீ இவ்வளவு தூரம் வந்ததே பெரிய விஷயம்.
I've never seen Rahul Dravid like lift up a cup and show all these things. Hey, welcome to another episode of The Couch Coaches. And this time, we're going to talk about Team Lagan.
இந்த வாட்டி மிஸ் ஆகாதுல்ல?
மிஸ்ஸே ஆகாது.
செஞ்சிடலாம்.
செஞ்சுட்டா போச்சு.
Over to you, Priyesh.
Hi, I am very, very happy to have this episode here after India won a nail batter yesterday. Kudos to South Africa also. So we are happy. Both of us are wearing Indian jerseys to celebrate the win, and what a win.
எப்படி இருக்க?
எரியுதடி மாலா, ஃபேனை போடு.
So we will do this episode as a overall analysis of everything which happened in the series or the World Cup. But we will start now with three major players who have quit T20 internationals for India. First, the bear, the big bear, Rohit Sharma. என்ன சொல்றது? What a captain.
Big news, man. I think, and the way he also announced it was also interesting. I don't know if you noticed. Commentary level, they asked about, hey, Virat did it right away after the game when they were talking to him. When Bogle asked, he just called it right then and there. Then when it came to the press conference, they were talking about Virat's decision and Rohit was answering that question. Towards the end when they asked, hey, so what about you? That's when we announced it. He's been a great player. I mean, white ball and Rohit Sharma always went together, right? And he just took to this format. So, well, he made his debut in 2020 format. And he has taken the attack.
Won the World Cup with Dhoni in 2007. Correct. And then 2024 also as a captain. And then I saw a clip where he meets the press in the ground, on the ground after the official press interview, where he says 2007 I won, 2024 I won, the circle is complete. That's why I want to retire. Andamari.
No, this was my last game as well.
Yeah, definitely. He's been a great player for India, and it will be interesting. We have a lot of people to fill the spot per se, but somebody who can do various aspects of it, right? That lazy elegance that he could do, And the way the pull shot and hook shot that he used to play, right, taking the attack to the bowlers, will miss all of those things for sure. But great career and absolutely the right decision to go on top when you know that you've done it for the team. He won't get another high moment to
Yeah.
call.
In T20, maybe not. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe World Test Championship or
Mhm.
next ODI, we will see. But
Correct.
a great moment to call off. I will rattle some numbers of Rohit in T20 eyes. Mind-boggling. He has played the maximum matches for an international player at 160.
Mhm.
Second most runs, 4,240. He was leading Virat in this match, but
Mhm.
Virat outscored them. Most sixes, we know, as you said, the pull is,
Mhm.
signature shot of Rohit with 205 sixes, most hundreds in a T20 international, 5, and most wins as a captain with the 58 win for the in the
Mhm.
final. So big hole to fill. I think we have the talent, but to bridge it, it will be a big hole. But
Correct.
as time says, the circle is complete, or what he says
Correct.
is circle is complete, and give it to the youngsters who, and we have a, I mean, talent Korochala in T20.
Correct.
And what I also was happy is the first T20 World Cup win after the IPL.
Mhm.
Hmm. People are not talking about it. Okay, we
Correct.
are only saying 13 years or 17 years Andamari, but first T20 World Cup win after the IPL was started. So very good.
Mm.
Now we will go to the King Kohli was the first to declare it that he will retire.
Well,
And what a player, what a legend.
Right.
And I liked his speech or thanks
Mhm.
giving when he received the player of the match. Uh, was very humbled by
Mhm.
whatever is happening. I think something is happening in his personal life because he
Mm.
was gungo in the IPL. Then suddenly 6 or 7 matches, konjam on the uh, unlike Kohli. That's all it I
Mhm.
will say.
Yeah,
But
see, I think in the IPL, the decision to go bat with that kind of intent was sort of a strategy that he had put together, right? And he was able to at least start a little slow as needed. But in the World Cup, it was very clear from at the go, he had to just go and start hitting, which is not his game typically. What we saw in the in the final is how he typically likes to maneuver and craft his innings.
He's a freaking badass.
That might have led to it. But to your point, right? Again, another person who I think has done so much for Indian cricket. We had Tendulkar, and then we said, okay, Dhoni was there, and Kaprom, the person that you can remember next, who replaces in all the three formats is Virat. And what kind of innings he has done for India, and somebody who wears his emotion on his sleeve, right? It's very clear what he's doing and the aggressive nature. It was almost very Rohit and him had a
docile.
great partnership.
It was very docile in this World Cup, but
Correct.
I thought give it. You have to give it to Virat because he put his ego aside in the World Cup and said, "I will play the template which the
Correct.
team wants.
Correct.
I am not Kohli, but
Correct.
I am a team member." That
Correct.
is why we said Lagan for this episode. And when we go and talk about the other players, we will see how much the team played as a team not
Correct.
as superstars or individuals. We see throughout Indian team, we will have
Correct.
3 or 4 big names which will carry forward the team. But this team in this World Cup played as a unit. So
Correct.
that's the best about this team. So
Correct.
Virat numbers. So we have to do the justice to him also. As we spoke about Rohit, he crossed the line with the most runs in
Mm-hmm.
T20I format with the 4264, most 50s by a international batter,
Mm-hmm.
40, most player of the matches 17, and most player of the series 7. What
Mm.
else you want?
Correct. And it is also, they are probably one of the last, I can't say last, one of the combinations that I remember that are able to play for one another. Any personal differences, any rifts, we didn't see that on the field. Because if you see the circumstances, right, Virat used to captain for India, Rohit played for him, and obviously the 2019 World Cup, yeah, Rohit was the main scorer for India. Then the switch happened. It was very natural, right? And then they just seamlessly said, you know what, we'll put everything together for Team India and do it. But since then, anytime we have seen these switches happen, it could be the 90s kids or the new generation, I don't know, you always see some kind of weirdness both on the field, and then obviously the media just blows things
Ama,
up as
ama.
well. So on that
Social,
account,
social media, you can't do anything.
correct,
They said a lot of rift was there between Kohli and Rohit, and then Kohli and Shastri and Rohit and Dravid were
yeah,
different. He was dropped Andamari.
yeah,
So whatever happens outside or
yep,
within themselves, they didn't show it on the field
correct,
for the World Cup and this World Cup
correct,
also. So you
exactly,
have to
correct.
give it to them for the last 9 months. So,
Oh yeah, correct,
they played as champions, and we will miss Rocco in the
correct.
T20 ice.
Charlie, will I ever see you again?
Sure, sure. You know, goodbyes aren't forever.
Then, goodbye, Charlie.
And the key
Now,
is also the way they backed each other during the press. Press used to just keep asking these
come on.
questions, saying that, "Oh, Kohli is not batting well. Oh, what do you think about his form?" And they were always backing one another. It was a great partnership, and two greats going out of 2020 at the same time on a high and
Yeah.
delivering the cup for India. I think which has been great.
Even in the semi-finals, Rohit said, "No, no, he is due and he
Correct,
will perform in the finals."
correct.
On the Mari. So the third retirement and a big player
Mm-hmm,
also for India, um, more for CSK, the regent of Shane Mon, call
mm-hmm.
him the rock star. Jaddu has retired is this afternoon also. And we called Rocco to go out on a high if
Mm-hmm.
India wins. And I will link the last episode here. But we didn't think Jatu will retire so soon because he is a and will be a key player for India. But I think Axar's World Cup
Mm-hmm.
uh, moved Axar Punjo top, and then I think concentrating on uh, test matches and one days, it will be good for Jatu and India because though Axar's batting has come leaps and bounds last to 2 years, Jatu's batting in test has been a revelation.
Mm-hmm.
So if you see the stats for last 2 years, he is batted uh, more brilliantly than taken wickets in
Mm-hmm.
the test also. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a good decision. Maybe it is. due to Gambhir coming in, that three of them quit at the same time. But I
But
think it's
in the
a
case of
very, very good decision.
yeah, I think in the case of Jaddu, I also think the way the World Cup got played out, how he got used in it, him feeling that was I really a key contributor to any of the games, those could have played into the decision as well. And the reality is, he was not handled well. I thought we could have done something better.
I mean, did we need three spinners in every
So,
match in Caribbean? No. Okay.
correct.
So I think they played him as a finisher, okay, who can bowl. Where Axar was a bowler who could bat.
Yep.
That was the role. But seeing that Axar had few knocks with 15 or 20,
Mm-hmm.
they pushed Axar in the finals because they kept Jadeja to finish.
Mm-hmm.
His role was a finisher. And how many times in the World Cup has he got the a chance to bat also? So so he is more a batsman than a bowler in this World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
So,
See, what I'm saying is those all play in your mind, right? And I think maybe we could have played, not even played him in the squad 11 and brought in like a bowler, etc., because horses for courses and so on. But anyway, setting that aside, awesome player in the 2020 format again, who comes way down. But the more I think of Jadeja, I only remember the CSK games and other things he's done in IPL where he took us over the line than for the other games that pop up. But it was a surprise to me to hear him go, but I can understand why and makes sense, right? So,
yeah. So uh, it doesn't have that many records like a Rohit or Virat,
mm,
but I think a bank to save 10 runs in the field,
correct.
economy over the career of only 7 plus,
Mm,
okay, and last 2 years as a finisher for
mm.
India. So we will miss him and his energy and the fielding in the T20I. But is he replaceable? Yes.
Yes.
Like not like Rohit and Virat. So,
Mm,
but big player also calling it a day.
yep.
Yeah. So all the best to all the three for the ODIs and the test. We will see what the youngsters do and take the baton forward. And now we will discuss the finals. What
What
a
a game,
final.
right?
Fit for
Unbelievable game.
fit for the final.
Correct.
Very good wicket. And I don't see any kasamasa where the English media is saying anything. Kudos to the groundsman to have a pitch like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, the when we were texting each other about the score, we thought 176 was a great score to get to. And even the way that we got there, if you remember, we were like 34 odd for three. Kohli started hot in the theme of hitting three boundaries. And then he switched the game to go back to the traditional
Simply.
classic Kohli innings of run a ball and then just crafted the innings and get us over the. And we were asking, hey, should Kohli have done a little bit more, etc. And there is some truth to that, right?
No, if
Because
we add roast, that would be the top line or the
Mhm,
headline that Kohli was slow. Okay,
mhm,
because we won, nobody is talking about it. Okay.
correct.
Uh,
But Thothirnda, they would have just blown that up.
Ama. Mm.
Mm,
And if his retirement would have not stood at all. Okay, on the way.
correct.
But I thought they were 5 to 10 runs above par
Mm,
on that wicket. But as we texted each other, maybe we could have got another 10 or 12 by Kohli. Run a ball till is 50, then he exploded. Maybe நீ சொன்ன வார்த்தை கேட்டுட்டான்னு நினைக்கிறேன். So அந்த மாதிரி. But 176 in a final was a very, very good score.
And what an innings by Axar, right?
தம்பி நீ ஜெத்துருவேன் நான் ஜெத்துருவேன் ஆனா அடுத்து வர ஒரு 5 நிமிஷம் இன்னும் 50 வருஷத்துக்கு அப்படியே இருக்கும்டா.
அவன் வந்து if he had not stepped up the tempo, right, 46 odd and 31 balls, we would have struggled even more and like 145 150 la da settle ஆயிருப்போம் ஃபைனலா, which they would have just the South Africa would just go on after it. So,
and I thought Akshar was lazy in getting back. He should have not been a run out at all. He didn't think that QTK will throw the ball.
Kumare, avasarapattiye.
So that was a gift.
நான் ஆக்சுவலா 4 extra runs வந்துருதுன்னு நினைச்சிருந்தேன். ஏன்னா overthrow went to the boundary.
So I thought the innings was very good, constructed well. Dubey also chipped in. I think Akshar and Dubey's innings were pivotal for us to get to 176. And both the sides did some errors in the match, okay, Andamari. But to go to South Africa's batting, Bumrah, beauty of pitch for the first wicket.
Rendricks,
வர்றா ஹிட் ரிப்பீட் அடுத்து வர்றா ஹிட் ரிப்பீட் அடுத்து வர்றா ஹிட் ரிப்பீட்.
Pitch and I think I don't know who was on commentary. I think Bishop only, because last ball leg by to QTK and he
down the leg miss பண்ணுவான் punt.
So he will say, you see the ball is the correct ball for a right-hander. Next ball konjo ulla vandu it will take off stump, and he said that's the gauge that Bumrah needed, and they got the wicket. So we were cocker up on 23 for 2. Then Klaasen played I think the best innings in a final for a long time I've seen.
உனக்கு 2 நிமிஷம் டைம் தரேன், என்னை கொன்னுட்டு உன்னையும் ஆளுங்களையும் காப்பாத்திக்கும்.
Maybe I will go back to Ponting's 140 against us in a final, and because chasing and coming shots so konjam was a fantastic innings. 8 innings in the World Cup was okay, but they were not chasing such a steep score at 9 per over on the Murray. So
I think for us,
you have to give it.
See, our spinners were not on point right from the beginning. There was, because in the previous games, they're landing in the right spot and making the changes. Today they are a little flaky. And the moment you are like that and you give it to somebody like Klaasen, that's like blood in the water, right? Payam was like just going after us like crazy. I don't think
3 starts. Okay, one coverla back footla 6 of I think Akshar, and Klaasen doesn't clock sweet too much. Next ball, stroke sweep for 6. Okay, and then the 6 over point of Hardik, I think 3 starts which stood out and told you he was in the zone.
Correct. See, that shot against Pandya, that over he gave 10 runs, allow 6, but the rest of the balls he was like caught on the crease and doing. That over that was given to Akshar, I think we were still chatting at that point. I think he was already getting comfortable with spin. And in the end, Pandya only bowled 3 overs. So you could have technically, you must have brought Pandya at that
Pandya
stage.
or Jatu. Jatu also 1 hour
No,
11 or
but if he
12.
had the philosophy of spin, he's
Oh,
getting comfortable.
ama.
And you know that when Pandya bowled 1 over, he hit 1-6, but he was still not super comfortable.
Yeah,
You should have brought, I think, Pandya at that
yeah,
stage.
yeah.
Well, in the end, everything worked out. But
Mm.
when 54 to get in 6 overs became five overs 30, because 24 runs on the over.
Ama.
And at 5 overs 30 to get with 6 wickets in hand, I feel bad for South Africa, but at the same time, this is a World Cup moment, right? You have had, after 32 years, you're coming back to the final. So much at stake. They should have, this was the chance to shed the choker tag and go for it. For whatever reason, they could not get it done.
கிடைக்கலன்னா விடு நீ இவ்வளவு தூரம் வந்ததே பெரிய விஷயம்.
And that is something that we should also call out.
30 of 30 Bishop said, is this the time the Remo nation gets the pot of gold, in the end of the rainbow? Okay, 30 of 30. Then Rishabh point maybe a strategic decision or whatever, I don't know.
He made a call to the Afghanistan player to ask எப்படி ஆக்ட் பண்ணலாம், ஹாமி எப்படி ஆக்ட் பண்ணணும்னு சொல்லி கேட்டு ஆஸ்கர் மூமெண்ட்.
And then they taped his knee, and then it took away 2 or 3 or 4 minutes of the game, and the next ball out. Okay.
Correct.
But I think that was the turning point, because it could have gone for a edge for 4. If it was Konjo clear, the ball would have gone for 6. 6
Correct.
of or 4 of that ball, game over.
Correct.
Okay. Also, I think, okay, and we don't know what they are thinking. I think Klaasing told himself 30 of 30. I don't need to go ballistic now. We can knock out around. And maybe that was the idea that he nicked it. But that was the moment, the turning point of the game.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then you can always see there are several, even Keshav Maharaj coming in, scoring 7 balls. And
why
even
didn't they
Miller,
get Rabada?
correct.
Yeah. They could have got Rabata, because 2 4s, okay, the game changes.
Correct. See, they had the thinking right of sending Stubbs to drop. I thought that was a brilliant move.
Yeah.
Because that changed the complete way by which he played so freely. If Klaasen had come to drop and he had started hot, because he had to make up the run rate, and if he had got out, then it would have been a completely different thing. So they sent Stubbs, no pressure, just go for it. He played a brilliant knock. அந்த thinking இருந்து, if they had sent Rabada over Keshav Maharaj, and if he had scored a boundary or 2, then the game would have changed again.
And
so I think there is a little bit of work for South Africa to go back and recover from this.
Ponting on commentary said Kuldeep didn't bowl to Stubbs in the nets in the
Correct.
IPL
In Delhi,
at all.
Yeah.
So that was funny, but that is what I'm saying. 40 errors both the teams did. Okay.
Correct.
It was not a flawless game, but then that over, wicket and 4 runs, you needed 26 of 24, and Bumrah's over, where you got Janssen and gave away 3. Okay.
Right.
Then 20 needed of 12. Arshdeep 4 runs in
we were texting
situation.
where he said maybe he'll give 8 and we'll keep like 10 or 11 at the last over.
Yeah.
Brilliant, right?
Then 16 of the last over, and that catch of Sky. What a catch.
I think it was like a fairy tale ending for India, the way it had to sort of unravel. And overall, to talk about a few of them, right? Let's start with Bumrah. And any time you give him the ball, it's like it's not over until Bumrah's 4 overs are
Yeah, yeah,
done. He's
yeah,
given us that confidence,
yeah.
and it's been just phenomenal to watch a bowler in this kind of a format where batsmen have been just belting bowlers left, right, center after watching games like IPL. Now I really think we have to create I think we should do drop-in pitches in IPL at a few locations. I just want to make it a little bit, people are not sure, bring bat and ball a little bit closer and makes it interesting. But Bumrah, champion bowler, so it's been awesome.
Genius, genius.
Yeah.
I think we should now taper his workload and not play him in all the three formats.
Yeah.
Only maybe RCC championship in the T20 format or 6 months before he can play in the T20. I think we have to rest him and give him a good break for ODS and Test because he's on top of his game, but he can't be this effective.
Correct.
15 wickets at an economy of 4 point something,
Correct.
and the
4.4 something. Yeah.
least economy in the World Cup,
Correct.
entire World Cup. Okay.
Yeah.
Genius, that's all it is. So I think the next coach and PSCCI should taper his workload, and I will not be surprised if they give him the Test captaincy and Virat and Rohit plays under him also, because we have to have a transcendent plan for ODIs and Test also. So I think this is the best chance to give Bumrah the Test captaincy. We will see what Gummies does, but we have to look at him as the national treasure now.
Correct. Yeah, very true. So now talking about bowlers, Arshdeep, right? We all have constantly talked about Bumrah, Kuldeep doing well. The person who has completely gone under the
Under
radar.
the later, Amma.
Yeah.
And
He,
somebody we didn't want to be picked in the squad. Why not
அது-
Nattu? Why not Nattu happen?
அதனால தானே இங்க உட்காந்துருக்கோம். But see, we always said Arshdeep started really well in 2020 career. It might have been the debut. Maybe that's how he broke into the national scene anyway. IPL he was a little bit shoddy, but the moment he came to the World Cup, he's been spot on. Right, from the first ball that he bowled, just coming into the left-hander and just carving away all those and getting the Yorkers right there, which was one of his strengths. Everything just started fitting in really well. And as you said, that critical over after Bumrah, because that have been very natural for a batting team who have been bottled down by Bumrah to say, I'm going to hit no matter what, and you have wickets in hand. They could have really gone after Arshdeep, and then anything could have changed. The last over was like 10 or 11, and the first ball was a 6. That's it. You know where that could have gone. But great bowling by Arshdeep.
For his age and Konjo IPL, he was up and down. I think Konjo he came back in the last, but he was not at all the bowler he was the player previous year. But in this World Cup, top wicket taker, equal with the Afghani with 17 wickets and at the average of only 12 plus. So phenomenal World Cup. Okay. You can't take it away from him, and he, as you said, under the radar. And see, I don't want to compare, but how Dravid was under the Tendulkar's name, Andamari. Okay, Bumrah is Tendulkar of Indian bowling now. You can't take it away.
Yeah.
Arshdeep, who has taken more wickets then Bumrah is not talked about much on the Mari.
Correct.
So
Correct. True.
then we will go to Axar Patel. What a revelation of the World Cup he had.
See, we always knew that he can bat, and especially in the last 2-3 years, we have started to see him become really solid. For Delhi Capitals, he came one drop. He built a bunch of those innings where we know that he can play. He's a floater. He can go anywhere in the squad and do a few things. And he was like really solid from a batting performance standpoint. Now, for his bread and butter, which is his bowling, in the previous game, he was right there, right? And he's the guy who can also vary his pace all the way from the early 90s till like 105, 107 for the faster delivery, the slider. And he's gotten that much more better because he comes and bowls. And the action is very similar to a Jadeja kind of an action as well. So, very prototype all-rounder that we want. And 5-6 years younger than Jadeja, so he's about 30 in the peak of his career, and he had a great World Cup.
We called it out in the preview also that India can use him as a floater or the pinch hitter if need be in this World Cup. Okay, that's what they did. So a World Cup with 100 runs, close to 100 runs, 9 wickets, and that catch against Australia.
Marsh. Yeah.
If you ask me which is better, access cash or sky catch, I will say access catch.
I'm not sure.
Only for the technical difficulty, not for the movement of the game. புரியுதா? The pressure and the movement of the game, you have to give it to Sky. I'm not denying, but the technical difficulty to catch a flat rocket in your non favorite and or Andamari, what a catch. So he had a very good World Cup, and I think that prompted also Jatu to retire because now he's cemented his place as the number one, spending all-rounder. And kudos to him, and and the if you see the ODI World Cup, he was in the squad, got injured, then Ashwin came, then he recovered before the World Cup started, but they didn't pick him up in the team. So it is also a good riposte for him to say, I'm there to be believed or whatever on the Murray. Now we will go to the...
Before we go to that last person we want to save, should talk a little bit about Punt as well, right? We know the kind of injury that he came back from, and whether we always wondered if he'll have the stamina to sort of do the entire series. He had a good World Cup. I won't call it great because Adicha on the 40-yard, it was very streaky innings here and there. The one drop was an interesting position. I didn't realize they will do it, but I could understand the logic of having right-handers and breaking the pattern.
No, I thought that strategical mastermind gave us the combination to play so many batsmen till 8 because if you had him at 4 or 5, okay, then left hand you have to get Jaiswal opening, then Kohli, then you have to drop Dubey. We spoke about it in the preview also that Kohli should bat on open because then the conversation will not be right because they have to drop Dubey. And the people and social media said, what is Dubey? Is 20 odd in the finals, got us to the score. Okay, so they know better and we know 18% better than social media because we had the squad and the team 11 before the World Cup also.
Correct. Yeah, sir. See, Pant you're right. He gave us that flexibility and made sure the batting order comes in the right manner. Then his keeping skills. Right? I saw a few catches where he had to change direction and the thing over just over the helmet and some of the catches that he did. And even here, the stumping that he did in the final was like pretty critical. So overall, for somebody who came back from almost
not
death.
playing the game and maybe not even walking. So
yeah. So I think kudos to him. And now I will let you talk about the man who I think we have said a few things about him, media, personal life, etc. But he was the man of the moment.
If Pant is epitome of coming back from adversity, this man has gone to a lot in the 6 months. Hardik Pandya. We said he will be the linchpin or the core of the Indian one day World Cup, and he got injured. And Shami had a fantastic World Cup, but in this World Cup, he was the glue. Okay, uh, his batting came up, his bowling came up. He, I think, left his ego and played as a Lagan team.
தகப்பா வாழ்க்கையிலேயே ஒரு உருப்படியான காரியம் பண்ணிருக்கேன்னா அது இதுதான். இனிமே உன்னை வாடா போடான்னு சொல்ல மாட்டேன், வாங்க போங்கன்னே சொல்றேன். அப்படியா? ரொம்ப சந்தோஷம்.
But what I want to say is having a entire nation against you, the social media rants and the public outcry and your own team booing you in the stadium and people talking about your personal life as if they are going through it. At the long to come back and perform and be the MVP according to the impact any player has created in this World Cup. To kudos to you, Hardik. That's all it is.
See, I think life is a great leveler, right? I think the way high he has started and the kudos that he got and the way things sort of panned out, I agree. He's gone through a whole lot, and this is going to make it's all about how he's going to process this to sort of take it forward because he's going to be the captain for the 2020 World Cup going. I mean, 2020 team going forward. They are going to give him very key responsibilities, and he's got these experiences will help him. But for the performance that he did, in spite of all of those things, kudos to him. And finally, the results matter.
Nearly 150 runs and 11 big wickets, but the crucial thing, last over of the final. Okay.
Correct.
So, if this gives him a lesson to be conjo humble and take life more seriously and hang up his ego, he will be a better cricketer because no questions about the skills, but the ego comes in between his skills. So I hope that he has learned a lesson now, and he will showcase more to us. Maybe left the next World Cup also. So kudos to Artik. Now a word on the wall.
Dravid. Man, I mean, this is also a Cinderella ending. We spoke about all the players ending on a high. அந்த கதையை இன்னும் ஒரு லெவலுக்கு கொண்டு போகணும்னா this is definitely Rahul Dravid. 2007, we know how under his captaincy we crashed out of the ODI World Cup. Somebody was a very student of the game who gave it all. There was no question about it in whatever he got, right? People forget that he was asked to be a wicket keeper and to get that extra batsman in the team. He did that for India. He did whatever he had to do things. And for him to not have a trophy to showcase was always something that was hard. and the emotions. I've never seen Rahul Dravid like lift
Yeah.
up a cup and show
Yeah.
all these things.
Yeah.
It was like awesome to
That
watch.
10 seconds of emotional outpour, maybe it was the combined 30 years of international cricket that came out. So,
Correct.
kudos to Wall. And in a interview, somebody asked him, "So next what?" He said, "I'm unemployed next week. If you have a gig in, tell me." Andamari. So very, very. I mean, 119 World Cup.
Correct.
India some tournament he won as a coach. Now Indian men's team. So
Yeah.
you
Yeah, I think there are a few things I have definitely questioned in how we were doing it prior. For example, not settling again, right? Those are all results, and what he has shown will actually, none of those things sort of matter. And we never questioned the kind of, the determination that he brought while he was batting, the how prepared he was, and then transferring that to these players. And you are right, having groomed players at a much younger age, he could the same set of players had the bond with him even before when they came here. So all that was just amazing to watch.
and the time he took over also was not great.
Yeah,
Shastri and Kohli's era had finished, and it was Konjo Kasamusa
correct.
that Rohit and Dravid took over. And Rohit said something very, very interesting. He said, uh, Dravid had to unlearn his method to
Mm,
match the young generation in the team to motivate them and make them play. So
mm,
that is the class of leader who
mhm,
can unlearn something and adapt to the situation. Like we
mhm,
say in startup world, pivot, andamari.
mhm,
But if you are a CEO of a company for 30 years, and somebody and some startup guy is saying pivot for my startup, it's
mhm.
very difficult.
Correct. Yeah,
So kudos to Dravid for that also.
yeah.
Now we will go and a word about the Saffers Pavon. So they played a fantastic final. They played a fantastic World Cup.
Yep.
Eight of out of eight when they or 9 out of 9 when they've came to the final. And people will say the C word, but I think when you lose by 7 runs, and Tala for a reason, uh, if you lose by 7 runs in the final, it is not choking.
ஏன்டா கத்துற? போலீஸ்காரன் உன்னை மட்டும் மாறிச்சான். அவன் கண்ணத்தை பார். அழுகுன கொய்யா பழம் மாதிரி இருக்கு. ஏன் மூக்க பார். வெடிச்சு செதறி இருக்கு. இதுக்கெல்லாம் நான் வருத்தப்பட்டதா? வாழ்க்கையில இதெல்லாம் சகஜம்டா.
India.
But it's not the 7 runs, right? It's the 5 overs, 30 runs to get 6 wickets in hand in a final, right? That's where it starts.
Yeah, I mean, first final, okay? First ever final. You have to give it. And how many finals have we gone and won nothing?
Yeah.
புரியுதா? So they will learn, and I mean they will learn.
No, I empathize with them. All that has happened, 23 runs to get in one ball, the DLS rule that we have seen, all the things that went against South Africa, we get all that. You drop the cup, mate. How can you forget that catch of Herschel Gibbs dropping Steve Waugh? So all of those things come in for us, and they definitely have a soft corner for them.
And Donald run out with the close now. Okay, but I think they will learn to cross the line because the first time they have come to the finals, that itself is big for them. So they have crossed one hurdle. But I will not say chokers in this game. I think India won it. Okay. By very, very good bowling and scalding them in that Bumrah's 2 overs and Arshdeep's 1 over. So, well played, Savas. And I think Markram is a very, very good captain.
Yeah, I mean, I think the captaincy was great. They started well with intent. Klaasen took the game away from us, right? At a point, Stubbs' move was great, but I still think that they have to go back and look at that 5 overs, 30 to get 6 wickets in hand. What happened, right? And building that kind of mental muscle to say you
Mentality.
can't let it
Yeah.
happen again is what. Because if we imagine the thing the other way around, if India was in that situation,
People would have called India chokers.
Adi, we would have just the media would have massacred
Uh,
India, right? And
mm.
even the losses for India before was not from such situation. They were easily outclassed, but obviously, if you were outplayed, Adik, actually should get a higher degree of திட்டு.
Capital chokers and
Correct.
Andamari because
Anyway, so that's what I feel. They also they have a reasonably young team,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
QDK, I realize is only 30 or going to be 31 years old. I thought he's going to be like much older, but he's not. So he has a chance of playing the next World Cup. So,
Yeah, yeah. And he plays only white ball for
mm,
South Africa.
yeah.
He's retired in Test cricket.
Mm,
Klaasing also is retired at Nenekere for Test
mm,
cricket, or they are not seeing him as a
mm,
player. But I think both the teams made errors, but I think South Africa played the final to be fit for a final. So
mm,
they could have got out for 120 when the spinners had the magic like last time. So and the spinners in the middle overs were the main
mhm.
thing for India. But in the middle overs, that 10 overs from 7 to 15 or whatever, they went for 100 runs.
Yep.
So they played a very, very good brand of cricket. Hard luck, and I think they will, cross the hurdle next time for
Mhm.
sure.
Mm.
But
I think
very,
India is still
very,
there.
huh?
India is still there. I don't know if they will
ஆமா.
cross the hurdle.
We will see.
I am not P-Dog to go support for South Africa that strongly.
So, but very, very good final, and
Mm.
that's the wrap for this episode. Please like, subscribe, and share. We will come back with another episode very soon. Bye.
Bye.